Okay. Today, May the 2nd, 2024, class number 674. Look again. That's the title. I want to start with the foundation scripture, Matthew chapter 13, and we'll read 13, 14, and 16. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing not. They seeing, see not, or they don't see. And hearing, they hear not. Neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which says, by hearing you shall hear and shall not understand. And seeing you shall see and shall not perceive. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. That's pretty powerful stuff. Certain people have come into a realization of oneness, and certain people have not. But yet all have the same eyes and the ability to perceive. All have the same ears and hearing, the ability to understand. Yet some don't. Some hear, but yet they don't and don't understand. But he's saying your eyes, those who are following, those who are listening, those who are hanging out with me, you hear. It appears to be gradual, but it is coming. Slowly but surely, but it is coming. Now, I want to read something else from the ultimate that fits this perfectly. We see by perception. Conscious awareness is perception, and to be consciously aware of the truth is to see, perceive the truth. As we exist as consciousness, perception is inherent in our existence. If you realize that you are consciousness, then perception is inherent. You automatically can hear and understand. That's just automatic. It's there. You cannot get rid of it. This is what is meant when someone speaks of seeing with the eyes of the soul. That's why you cannot mistake the fact that you are hearing. You have inherited the mind of Christ. It is automatically there, and you can't do anything to get rid of it. Now, while it is wonderful to know this, yet the ultimate discloses further revelation. The consciousness that perceives the truth is the very substance, form, and activity of that which it is perceiving. Y'all hear that? The consciousness that perceives the truth is the substance. That's faith. You are the substance of that which you perceive when it is true. Now, when you perceive error, there's no truth. There's no faith. There is no substance. Error can't have any substance. It's a nothingness, a no thing. That's why there's nothing called matter or material. Now, there can be no gap when it is clearly seen that the consciousness that perceives includes that which is perceived. In other words, I am that I am, or I am the living God, or I am the Son of God. I have to be that. If I perceive that, I am that, because it is only one consciousness that is perceiving, and that is God consciousness or Christ consciousness. Knowing truth in this way, there is no separation between the revelation and the manifestation. You get that? Whenever you get a revelation of truth, that is its manifestation. The mistake most people make is waiting around looking for something to change out here on the outside. The revelation is the manifestation. It just happens to show up out here because mind, God, consciousness is a mirror, and it reflects the truth that you perceive. But when you start calling error truth, and you start fighting with it and start trying to do something about some sickness or some disease, you can't perceive that. You cannot be the substance of sickness and disease, because there is no such thing. You cannot be the substance of some lie. You can't be the substance of pain and suffering and lack. You can't be the substance of that because there is no such thing. Remember, in Ecclesiastes, what does it say? If what God has done, can't nothing be put to it, and nothing can be taken away. That which is to be has already been, and that which has been is now. So, if you look at, a lot of times, I like to hop away from Genesis 1 and go to John 1 immediately. In the beginning was what? The Word. That's you. You are the Word. And that Word was with God, and that Word was God. Well, you can't help but be anything but what God is, because God is all there is. God is Word. You are Word. And so, therefore, the Word, which is you, soul, you automatically express the truth that you are. The problem is some of us are trying to express the truth. There's no such thing. The truth is automatically expressed already. You're just finding out how much fun you can have. You trying to do something so that you can enjoy something is the mistake. Realizing that which is already has been, can't not be, that is going to come into your experience, what we call out here, because it's happening on the inside of you. Many of us have decided, I'm going to have what God says I have. But they have a separation. They got a me and a God, and there's no such thing. There's just God expressing as me. When we reverse the thinking, it is God expressing as me, then there is no me and God. There's no such thing as God and. God appears as everything in the universe. However, man has created many inventions. Man, through choice, has decided to do some things that are outside of the realm of what God is. That's what I'm trying to say. And really, you can't do that because you are the image and likeness of God, which means you are able to receive communication from the Father. Because, as Jesus said, how long have I been with you and still you don't know who the Father is? Okay, so that you should be looking at, if I ask you who you are, you should look at me and say, well, how long have I been with you and you still don't know the Father? I am the Father. Everybody is the Father. There's nobody on the face of this earth who is not the Father. There is nothing outside your consciousness that can reveal itself. To see is to be what is seen. Comprehending this discloses seeing as being, revelation as manifestation, one and simultaneous. Okay. Now, you say, well, what does that have to do with look again? Why did you title look again after all of that you just gave me? Well, I had to give you the foundation of where we're going. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories from the Old Testament. Start with 1 Kings 18, chapter 43. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 43. Now, in this, there's a story. And this is, remember Elijah has shut up the heavens. And they're not going to rain. It hasn't rained in forever. And now, Jezebel's mad. And so Elijah tells his servant, he's telling him, hey, it's going to rain. It does not look like it's going to rain. There's not a cloud in the sky. And so Elijah sends his servant out. And he says, go out, look toward the sea, come back and tell me what you see. I'm just paraphrasing this now. I'm not reading. And he comes back and he said, I ain't seeing him. He told him to go out again. But in all accounts, he basically told him to go out 7 times and tell me what you see. Well, the 7th time he went out there and he looked, he came back, he said, I saw a dark cloud about the size of a man's fist, about the size of a fist. And in other words, he was telling them, look again. See, you went out there and you saw nothing, but on the seventh time, you saw the rain even before the rain came. Now, let me ask you this. What is the significance of seven? On the seventh day, God did what? He rested. On the seventh day, or the seventh time, the servant went out in a relaxed state and saw the reality. What happens to us is what? We go out and we look. Like there's a story where the woman, where Jesus said, if you can say to this mountain, be removed, be cast into the sea, and have no doubt in your heart, you'll have what you say. And this woman was tired of this big old mountain behind her house, right by the window. So this woman told the mountain to move, and she went to bed that night. She got back up the next morning and went to the window and looked and saw that mountain. She said, I knew you wasn't going nowhere. So, in other words, she wasn't relaxed. Sabbath, 7, rest. People turn that into, that's the day you're supposed to go to church. I don't know how they got that when it says you are the church. It means you are the ones who are called. You are called. In Greek, it's the ecclesia. You are called out to express and glorify God, which is yourself. Remember we said glory with what? The ray of heat. The glow of heat and the ray of light. Glory, heat, and light. We also said that was the coming together of thought and feeling, emotion from the heart, and ideas coming from mind. Those two in the house, anything can manifest. So now he goes out. He has, look again. You went out and you didn't see anything. But on the seventh time you went out, but you had changed. Your consciousness perceived rain. See, think about who shut up the heavens. Elijah shut the heavens. Elijah said it wasn't going to rain. And it didn't. And then when he said it was, it was. What do you say about your experiences? Because when you go in a relaxed state and you look again, you see what it is that you want to see. Perception is seeing with the eyes of the soul. Okay? Here's another great story. The same great guy that shut the heavens up and caused it not to rain, this same guy had slayed the prophet. When Jezebel heard about it, he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have him. So he runs away. And he hides in a cave. And what does he hear? But a voice saying, why are you here? You are who I am. Why are you running and hiding from this queen? Well, there's nobody. This is your boy talking, the prophet, the guy who closed up the heaven. There's no one left but me. I'm really the only one serving you now. Everybody else is gone toward Baal, a false god. Basically, what God said to him was, look again. In other words, I got 7,000 that I've kept out for me. What God was basically saying was, I am 7,000 and you. And none of you are worshiping Baal. You're who I am. Why? Look again. You think that you're this human. Okay, so you perform some type of, I don't even want to call it a miracle. You did something that was highly out of line with normalcy. You shut the heavens up and it didn't rain, and then you had it rain. Now here you are here, and I'm telling you to go back, and you saying there's nobody left. And I'm telling you, I have helped out 7 for myself. How many selves are there? There's only one self. And we are that one self. And that one self is God. God is the self of every male, female that ever was. So he looked again, and he went on. And he founded the school of the prophets and went on to do some great stuff in the name of God. What is the name of God? I am. Remember last week? That name is what? Set apart for a specific purpose. What purpose? To glorify yourself in the earth. Not what we call the human or the mortal. That's not what we have not come into this expression to glorify a Michael Orr. We came to glorify the self that God is the only self that we are. Let's go to another story. I told you I had a couple stories today. These touched me. I mean, because I've been meditating the setting a trap for God, the Our Father, since last Thursday. Every day. I do that every day, 2 and 3 times a day. And something comes from it. And all of this came from just meditating that. In 2 Kings, chapter 6, down around 17, now we're talking about the prophet Elisha. And there seems to be some big war coming, and all this big army has come, and they're going to fight. And Elisha, his servant says, man, look how many of them. Look how many there. And Elisha says, well, look again. He says, oh, Father, please open his eyes that he might see that there are more with us than with them. A little deep thought about that would be, if I see my enemy as God, the Christ, it transforms them into my perception of the I am, the awareness of truth, the awareness of peace. You can't, if I forgive those who have offended me, I am forgiven for seeing from what they call mortal mind, carnal mindset, which is devil, which is nothing more than my thoughts, which have gone awry, which are not in line with Isaiah 55. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. Why? Because you are thinking from a human natural standpoint, and I am really you, your mind. And mind is God, and mind is Christ. And the soul is the Son of God. And it reminds me of this beautiful thing in Revelation where it says, and the river of the waters of life flowed from the throne down through the soul and out. Isn't that amazing? The river of the waters of life. This is flowing from you, mind, in through your soul and out. And people will feel it. And you don't have to tell them. All you have to do is know that this is who I am. And because I am a walking around in the earth as that which knows that this flowing is constantly going on, I don't have to have judgments about people. I don't have to get mad, even though I do. I ain't lying. I get mad. But then I stop and I back up and I look again. What do I look at again, y'all? Me. I look at who I am as opposed to what I just almost, notice I said almost. I almost turned into something. But I look again, I look back, and I see the Christ. And when I look at you and anybody else, I see the Christ. I remember saying, I practice the Greg Braden thing all the time. If you hurt me, I bless you. If you did something that was not quite right about me, I bless you. I bless you because it releases me from the bondage of my thoughts. Let me say that again. It releases me from the bondage of my thoughts. He says, open his eyes, and he sees what? What does his Elisha's servant see? Here are all these, the armies of armies all out here, but all around the mountains. chariots and angels. It's over. The natural man cannot fathom the things of God. But you're not operating out of the natural man. You are operating out of the mind of Christ. That mind which was in Christ Jesus. We let that be there. Now, here's one more. Well, I'm sorry. A couple more, because I got caught up in this. Remember John 4:35? When Jesus told them, the fields are already white on the harvest. What did he say before that, though? You say it's 4 months into the harvest. He said, but look again. The fields are already white. That's Isaiah 65, verse 24. Before they call, I have answered. That's Aramaic text. I already answered it. If you say there's a problem, but before the problem existed, I answered it. Who is the I that's answering? The I is the self. God, the Christ, truth. That's all there is. There is nothing else. There's nobody out here going toe-to-toe for 15 rounds and whoever's left standing wins. No such thing as that. It's how you respond, how you look at something. You look at it and the first thing you see is, oh, wow, this is ugly. You look and tell yourself, well, look again, and what do you see? The resolution. You see yourself in that self. I love my neighbor as myself. The fields are already white unto harvest. Remember Moses getting ready to go to, what is it, over there in Exodus chapter 4, Moses is on the mountain, and God is calling him to go into Egypt and to free the people. Who's calling him? There's nobody out there but Moses. And then there's a tree that won't be consumed even though it's on fire. But it won't. What Moses is having to do? Moses could be asleep. He's dreaming. He's something. It's a little different. It is not this normal world that you look at every day that he's having this in. Because if you don't believe me, go out here and set a tree on fire and see if it won't burn right down to the ground. But Moses is having a vision. He's seeing himself. And he says, nobody's going to pay me any attention. Who am I to go down and to free the people in Egypt? And the voice says, look again. Basically, that's what it says. Lay your rod down on the ground. It turns into a serpent. He said, now, okay, now pick it back up. What was he telling Moses? I'm showing you who you are. You are the resolution to the problem. Put your hand in your shirt, in your jacket there. Pull it out. He's got leprosy. Now put it back in it. Look again. Normal. One of the most powerful scriptures ever written was Hebrews 11, verse 27. By faith, Moses left Egypt. He was unafraid of the king, and he endured. This is the part I like. As seeing one who is invisible. As seeing him who is invisible. He saw his invisible self, and he knew that there was nothing that the Pharaoh could do to him. He was one of the first of the untouchables. You can't do anything to the self that understands itself, who knows I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. That's another little practice that I have been doing. Sometimes I don't remember all of them, but I go into, I'll go in Google and Google the 7 I am statements of Jesus. And I will practice saying those because it feels good. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the good shepherd. I am the bread of heaven. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the true vine. You get what I'm saying? That's just some wonderful stuff to have circling around inside of you throughout the day. Because y'all know what you got circling around inside your head all day. You know what you got going on in there. But the moment you say, let me look again and let me realize that there's more with me than it is with all these thoughts going on in my head, I can resolve all kinds of differences. All I have to do is realize that there is nothing but God. There's nothing but me. There's nothing but I am. And these differences have to disappear. I don't have to fight with them. He endured as seeing him who was invisible. Let me ask you a question. What would be the effect if all of God appeared as your body and your affairs right now? If all of God appeared as your body and your affairs, everything that all that God is shows up in your life right now as your body, as all of your body parts, as your brain, your mind, your affairs, your supply, finances. If all of God showed up right now as that, what would the effect be? You would live like that from now on. You would just say, hey, yes. That's exactly what it would be like Carolyn is doing. Yep, the upside down push-up. That's what it'd be. Because God is showing up in your life as everything that there is. Why else would he say all things are yours? I love the end of the Lord's Prayer. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. He said, yeah, but son, thou art ever with me, and all that is mine is yours. So you trying to tell me, who is you? You're telling yourself that all that God is, you are. That's what you're doing. And as you walk around with that going on the inside of you all day long, you will start to see things change. They're small at first, but they just start to get bigger, and they get bigger, and they get bigger. That would be the effect. The effect on you would be, oh, let me look again. I thought my consciousness was I got to get out here and deal with this and make this money and get enough to make sure that I got enough to pay the bills. Your consciousness would be, wait a minute, I have inherited the mind of Christ. I have an inheritance that is perfect, complete. I'm lacking nothing. The Lord is my shepherd. I don't lack anything at all. Who is the Lord? I am the Lord. I am He. You see where I'm going with this? God is omnipresent. Man, male, female. Man, male, and female cannot exist if God does not exist as male and female. I read something this morning that was absolutely beautiful. You know, without man, there can be no God, and without God, there can be no man. God has to have mankind, because God is mankind. God can't separate God from mankind. Can't. There's no way to do that. We're only talking about one, and it's all spirit. God cannot exist without mankind, and mankind cannot exist without God. They're one and the same. Now, if you look up the word exist, it means to have objective reality or being. To exist. I have objective. That means not subjective, something that the invisible becomes visible. I exist means I have objective reality. The Latin word for it is existere, E-X-I-S-T-E-R-E. It means to arise. What did he say? Arise. Go forth. That's all you can do is arise and go forth. It means to stand out. Let's see. I marked another page here. Let's see here. You guys are going to like this. It is, isn't God the very substance, form, soul, life, and activity of all that God knows? So that means that whatever you know, you are, not whatever truth. Because we know God only knows truth. God only knows love and peace, that kind of stuff, harmony. So all of the harmony and the peace and the love and the joy and the faith and all that stuff, that you know that you are the substance, the form, and the soul and the life of all that you know. You. Is there a person or a personal mind excluded from God's consciousness? Is God's mind separated into countless other little minds? No. Isn't God aware of being the entirety of all that God perceives? Can anything be revealed to me that is not already included in and as God's consciousness? Everything that is revealed to you is already there. You're just turning the page. you're just pulling the little onion out so you can see it. You're just clarifying, you know. If it is included in and as God's consciousness, can it be excluded from the consciousness that I am? As God is the only consciousness that can be individualized, what consciousness exists that is not aware of being the substance, form, and activity of all it perceives? What do you perceive? Truth. You know what the truth is. You know you have no business doing bad. So if that's your perception, aren't you the substance of that? Because there's nobody else to tell you that you shouldn't be doing bad. I'm telling you, if you've got, well, for lack of a better term, bill collectors, they're not going to tell you that you're doing good. I had one send me they sent me an email yesterday. No, they said, if you don't change over to receiving your monthly statement by way of electronic, we're going to start charging you $2 every month to send you a bill that you owe. If you keep taking pay, we're going to charge you $2. Isn't that amazing? You're going to charge me $2 from paper that I own. You don't know it, Synchrony, but I own you. And if you keep on fooling with me, I'm going to change you. You're going to be looking around for a job. That's how much I love you. You're going to be looking, oh, wow, we being sold. That's what we're talking about here. How do we know we exist? By perception, by consciousness, by conscious awareness of being. Neville is so clear with this. Neville says, my awareness that I am is God. Isn't that wonderful? I am aware that I am. So that's God. I am. I stand out. Not my mortal human appearing flesh, but that which I am. I see him who is invisible. I am unafraid of the king of mortal thoughts. I am unafraid of the bondage of Egyptian thought, that which is holding me back. I'm unafraid. I endure because I can perceive him who is invisible. That is my divine self. With that consciousness, are we aware of our existence? God is the only consciousness. The consciousness of existence and the existence are one and the same thing. They are identical. Our seeming mistake has been the illusion that there was consciousness and life, consciousness and substance, and form. Genuinely, there is only one, and that is consciousness. There's only one consciousness, and that is God, and anything outside of that does not exist, does not stand out. Actually, the perception is the substance, the form, and the activity of the body that it perceives. You perceive your wholeness, and that is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to perceive that nothing exists outside of you. You are aware of your divine self. You know them well that when you can sit around and wish for things to be different, the only thing you're wishing for is that you can really see the truth of what is really there. That's what you're wishing for. That's what you're hoping for. I just want to see what's really here. I'm tired of dealing with what appears to be here in front of me, and I'm tired of fighting with it. Well, quit. Stop fighting with it. It's not real. So you're trying to tell me that my back doesn't hurt. I'm trying to tell you that if you look at it from a different perspective and you realize I and my Father are one, your supposed back pain will it'll cease. It'll dissipate. It'll disappear because back pain, any kind of pain, any kind of hurt, anything that is outside of the realm of God cannot be a part of what you are. I told something yesterday, you know what, you're not a part of me. I don't even want to deal with it. There's always another way, but I am that way. And so if I perceive the way, then I am the way that I perceive. Here's a huge problem that we come up with. We want to say how it's going to work out. Anybody else here ever do that? Oh, okay, I understand. Y'all are real spiritual. So y'all don't come up with no, this needs to be like this, or I need it to be this. You know, I was the king of that. But then I realized, wait a minute. Now, this is going to be tough to swallow. But this is going to be hard. But I want you to think about this. And you'll have to meditate. Because I read something this morning that said, you cannot be afraid to speak your convictions, even though there will be those who will ostracize you. You cannot be afraid to speak your convictions. Okay, y'all ready for this? Was God born? Was God a little baby wrapped in a blanket? Did God have to wait 9 months for Mary to finally give birth to God? Or is God omnipresent? When we get to the point where we can really perceive that there is no human birth, the only reason that went on was, and when I say that went on, the only reason that went on was man would never, ever follow a Jesus Christ if they did not do what? See him supposedly be born, grow up, and then all of a sudden they see a change, and then they see him, Julian and I were talking the other day, and I said, there's a different Jesus that rolled up in there and told those folks church up, turned over the money changers, death and stuff, and threw them out of there. That's a different Jesus than the one that went to the cross. And it's a totally different Jesus. And wait a minute, hold up. Why, when they rolled the stone away and he's not there? What happened to being born and crawling and toddling and growing up? Why doesn't everybody do that? A guy asked me the other day, he said, why does a loving God let bad things happen to good people? Jesus said, why are you calling me good? The great Jesus, why you call me good? There's none good but God. So we got a different Jesus going to the cross. We got a Jesus on there saying, well, no, I could call down fire from heaven. One man turns over the tables of a church and throws the money changers out of there, and they can't control one man. But now he decides, I'm not going to look again. Do you think Jesus looked again? Everybody on here who thinks that Jesus never made any kind of a mistake, put your hand up. Oh, wow. You know good well God is not going to run out go up in the church and tear that folks' church up, and then he ain't going to come back and fix it. Jesus looked again. And when he looked again, he saw himself. How do you think he felt? He knew good well Judas Iscariot was going to sell him down the river. Why didn't he say, hey, Jude, come here, bro? What the boy said, hey, Jude, Oh, man, it is bad. Why ain't Jesus grab Judas Iscariot by the neck and say, look, man, do you understand how much power I got? I'll set you on fire. But he didn't. No, go on out and do what you got to do. Do it quickly. Why? Because I have perceived that I am the substance of the resurrection and the life. And that's what you got to do. You got to perceive that you are the resurrection. You are the life. Can't nothing kill you. You are the Christ of God. I think it's, I always have to have Kenny fact check me. But I think it's the 82nd, it's Psalms 82, I think, where it says, ye are gods, children of the Most High. If he calls you God, then that's all you got. You ain't got nothing else. And that's what I'm trying to say today. Look again. Look again. People say, well, if God is, I thought God was all loving and God can't forsake you and God can't do this. And you look at Isaiah 54, what does it say? Expand your borders. You're going to expand on the left and on the right. Lengthen your tent cords. Oh, but you know what? For a little while, I was mad at y'all. I was mad. Who's talking? Isaiah is talking. I was mad at you for a little while. I was angry. I turned my face. You ever turned your face from somebody? Anybody in here got children? You ever turn your face from your children? Mad at them. But then you looked again. See, in Isaiah 54, I turned my face from you. I let you, here's my man's answer to why God let harsh things happen to good people. Here it is. You have choice. And I let you choose to think that there was something you could do in and of yourself. You can go out here and you can sell your music and you can make money and you can have a good time and go out and do all these wonderful things. But I did that in a raging wrath. Well, I am you. You did that. You are the God that allows rough and bad things to happen to you. Uh-oh. Look like Dale said. Ooh. You are the God that is letting this rough stuff. Your consciousness turns from you when you go to do something stupid. But when you turn and say, oh, wow, that was dumb, and you change, like Job. Job, what is it, the 42nd chapter? I have heard of thee with the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. I perceive myself. And what do? I repent. I turn in dust and ashes. I change from being dust and ashes to I am the way, the truth. I am the light of the world. I am spirit. I am truth. I don't care how hard it's coming to me. I'm going to turn and look again. And I'm going to see. Didn't it rain, children? My God, didn't it rain? That's where I'm going. What rain? Latter rain. The word, the spirit, coming from heaven. Where is heaven? In me. Where else is heaven? All about me. There is nothing that is outside of heaven. As I said, I prayed the Lord's Prayer with the Aramaic translation and with that understanding every day. I do every day, especially since last Thursday. And I already know that everything that I perceive is already in me. It's already reflected. And that manifestation is the revelation, and that revelation is the manifestation. All is done. Look again. Amen. So it is.